afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today I am joined with...
He's fantastic.
In today's Real User Review, we're going to be talking about a few of the offerings from Wuben. But first, the disclaimer. Wuben did reach out to me and asked me if I want to take a look at some of their flashlights. I said yes, so they did send me all of the content in this video for free. But all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Wuben prior to publication. They will see this when you do.
Daddy, I want to tell something.
Go ahead, baby.
The pinks are perfect one. I like that one is purple and that one is pink.
Hazel picked out the background lights color today, the pink one and the purple one. Now, to start this video, we are going to do the unboxing where Miss Hazel Fantastic helped me to take care of that as well. So let's start by jumping to Jeff and Hazel from the past. Let's crack these on open. And,
Daddy, be careful. You don't slice your finger.
I'm going to be very careful. The knife is in my right hand and Hazel is on my left side, and I'm going to cut away from us. So she does not get anywhere near the bad end.
Daddy, I'm staying here.
Yep, that's a great idea, sweetheart.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut away from you. We'll start by separating all three of these because they are taped well. I'm not going to lie, when I got this box, this package, I was surprised.
They're sticky.
I was surprised it arrived from New Jersey, all three packages taped together like that, but now that I had to like saw them apart, they weren't going anywhere.
Dada.
Okay, so
Daddy,
we're...
I want to tell you something.
Okay, tell me something. I love you so much, too, and I want to give you lots of kisses.
One more thing I want to
Thanks, baby.
see.
Love you. All right, let's start by cracking each of these packages open.
Oh, Daddy, there's something in that box.
Yeah. This is the XO, X0.
It's XO0.
Or X0 or XO, whatever you want to call it.
X0, I want to call it.
All right.
I want to open the cupboard.
Well, wait. Let's open them all first here.
Okay. I want to open the black one.
This is the C2 4800 milliamp hours, 2000 lumen flashlight power bank.
Daddy, it's so hard.
You want me to help you?
Yeah. Pull it, Daddy. Pull
Well, I
it.
can't. You're pulling it one way and I'm pulling the other. And then this should be the, yes, the H1. The H1 headlamp.
Add the human face on it and hair.
So we're going to start here with the X0 because this is the one that drew my attention and was most interesting to me. And we're going to make this easier on myself. Since Hazel is playing with Duke, I'm going to just slice the tape open instead of struggling to get it open with my fingernails.
Daddy, are you okay?
I'm totally fine, darling. This is all machined aluminum. This is all very, very nice. It's got a little bit of heft to it. I don't know why we generally equate heft with quality, but it does feel pretty solid. It feels pretty quality right now. And it's got this little door here, which I think this is the button because it clicks, but it also lifts up and that's where you will charge it. That's where you plug in your USB.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, babe. It came with an included charging cable. And I'm sure at this point we all have about 1 million different charging cables and about 1,000 of each one of them. But we also have our owner's manual in here, and it came with 2 extra O-rings that will probably seat the bottom, which will unscrew, which I'm probably gonna need a flathead to force it. I'm guessing that's where the battery goes in there. So here we have our headlamp, our H1.
Dad, it has a people tin on it.
It does have a people tin on it. Here, you want to see the people tin?
Yeah.
Now this is fairly bulky. It's pretty big, but this has the over the cranium strap as well as the around the cranium strap. And this is a solid piece of aluminum.
Solid?
Yeah, this is this is solid. And then it looks like right here on the one side is the USB charger, and then open close on this side. I don't know if that's gonna actually open the, I think that's, oh no, yep, that's gonna open the battery probably. Yep, that's our battery. And there is a little O-ring on there. I can't get it back on. That'll help keep your water out. Inside we have this bag of clips, additional O-rings, and our instructions. Now we have our C2 power bank flashlight, and we're gonna go ahead and follow suit and just cut the tape because it's just so much easier to cut it than it is to try and pry these things off with my little fingernails. So pop this pupper out of the box, because this one is, again, a flashlight power bank, so this one will double in the field. So it's one less thing you gotta carry, which is nice. Professional flashlight. Accessories. Okay. I feel like I'm opening an Apple product here. All right. This got some heft to it. It's very hard to see. There's actually a little rubber plug here that's got both our charging and our USB port in there to power your electronic devices. Yeah, you can have that, babe. And now that we're back from the unboxing, we're gonna do a quick spec rundown of each of the lights. We're gonna start with the H1 headlamp. It comes in at $29.99 USD. It maxes out at 1200 lumens. It is waterproof and drop proof. It has 4 brightness levels and a breathe mode. Next, we're gonna go with the X0, which is a magnetic light with a clip. This ranges in price from $59.99 USD all the way up to $269 USD, depending upon which light you choose. This has a max brightness of 1100 lumens. It is magnetic. It does feature a chest clip. It is dustproof and waterproof, and it features 4 modes. Next, we're going to talk about the C2 power bank and flashlight. It comes in at $63 USD. This is the brightest in the lineup that I have at 2000 lumens. It doubles over as a power bank. It is waterproof and crush proof. This features 4 brightness modes and a breathe mode. Now, how did I utilize each of these flashlights? And the best utilization has actually been walking Duke the dog at about 4:35 a.m. because it is still pitch black outside. Now, we did use each of these lights. I did test them for brightness, see how they worked, and I did find that the X0 was the best light for me for that situation. Now, I will say, I was EDCing the C2, which we'll get into it, but I had this in my backpack, and it came in very handy at work one day. But again, my most utilization of each of these lights was walking Duke the dog. But first, we're gonna go ahead and start with the Real User Review section. We're gonna go ahead with the C2. Now the C2, I did EDC this, I had this in my backpack, and I feel like this is a bit big for an EDC flashlight, but it does double over as a power bank, which is right behind this little rubber plug here. You have your power bank, and you also have your USB-C to charge the light. So if you're carrying a power bank in your EDC, you can take that out and then have your flashlight and your power bank be one thing. Now, the only problem I see with that is if I'm using this as a power bank and then the situation arises like happened to me, and I don't have any juice left in the flashlight, then I'm in a bit of trouble. But it would definitely help you to cut back on things that are in your EDC. What I have been using this for a lot, besides walking Duke the dog, is actually around the house. There are far more occasions than you would ever think that you would need to grab a flashlight and keep a flashlight handy, especially with Miss Hazel Fantastic around.
Yes.
Always dropping markers and food and toys going under the couch, going under the TV, going under the radiator cover, going under the table. So it's actually far easier to use a flashlight to look under these tiny crevices than a cell phone. So I have been actually utilizing this a lot there. When this came in most handy was when I was EDCing in my backpack, the power went out at work. And I work in an office building, but my office, my department, is in the center of the building, so there are no exterior windows, and the power went out. It was out for about 5 minutes. Luckily, I had my cell phone on my desk, so I grabbed my cell phone, got over to my backpack, got my flashlight, my C2 out of my bag, and I was able to click the C2 on and navigate around the building and make sure all of my coworkers were okay and can find their cell phones so they can have a light source. And the power stayed out for about 5 minutes. I mean, I didn't really need the flashlight for an extended period of time. 5 minutes is not a long time in the scheme of things, but it came in so incredibly handy to have it in there, and it worked out great in that situation. Now, as an EDC, I think this might be a little bit big for me. I'm probably going to use something a little bit smaller. Now, I have a light that is about half the size of this that I was using around the house, so I'm probably going to throw that in my EDC and use this for my around the house light, because honestly, with the brightness settings, this is far brighter than my other light. Looking underneath that couch and underneath the table, this is going to come in a lot more handy for me in the home setting. And I'll also be taking this camping with me in the summer. So I will say the main negative to the C2 is that it is kind of big as an EDC light, but it works great around the home, and I think this is going to work great around the campsite, because I'll just kind of keep this clipped to my pocket. Got a little clip there, so I'll keep this clipped to my pocket when it's getting a little bit darker, and I'll be able to walk around the campsite with this and shine and take Hazel for her very first camping trip this summer.
Daddy?
Yeah, baby.
Can I bring one toy on a camping trip?
You can bring a couple toys on a camping trip, baby.
In case if I get sad or mad and I say I want to bring my melody.
Sure, you can bring my melody on our camping trip.
Can we bring a big tent?
Oh, we'll bring the big tent. Our tent's pretty big.
On it?
Next, we're going to talk about the H1 headlamp. Now, I thought at first this was going to be my main dog walking light, but when I'm walking Duke the dog, who does not walk well, by the way. He is a puller. After 2 years, he does not learn. He's pulling me, so trying to angle this one-handed, it's not the easiest thing. I mean, it's not hard to do, but as you're trying to turn it, it kind of digs into your forehead right down here because it kind of torques the bracket. So you really need to go in two-handed with this to do it comfortably. But when Duke is pulling me, I only have one hand, so it's kind of hard to change the direction of the beam, and the way it's set up, I usually hold Duke with my right hand because I'm right-handed and he pulls. The buttons are on the right side, so it's also harder. I have to like reach up and over to turn the light on and off, which I don't want to do because I'm on blind camera. But the dog's pulling me. I can't angle the beam the way I want to, so I actually didn't use this like I wanted to. But we will get into the light that actually worked out great as a dog walking light, far better than I thought it would, in just a minute. But the light is actually pretty comfortable to wear, and the one thing that Hazel likes to point out, go ahead babe.
Gummies.
It's got gummies underneath it. You know what they are?
They're sticky grips.
They're sticky. They're grips, you're right, exactly. They're grips. They help it grip to your head so it doesn't slide around on your head. So it's actually pretty comfortable to wear. I thought because the bracket was so big, it wasn't going to be that comfortable, but it actually conforms to your head. It's got a contour to it, so it's not just a flat piece of metal against your forehead. It actually has a bend to it, so it conforms to your forehead. So it's actually pretty comfortable to wear. And I did wear it for a day or two on the walks with Duke, and we walked maybe a mile and a half. So we're out there for 20-30 minutes in the morning. So I've been wearing it. I wore it for about 20-30 minutes at a time like this, and also I did wear it over a skull cap because we did have a couple cold days. So I did have it on over a Scully once or twice, which it's hard to get on because the Scully wants to move. But I did have it on over a Scully once or twice, and it did work just fine. It was completely fine and comfortable to wear. Now the beam is pretty bright. I can see great with it. It's hard to adjust one-handed, and when you're walking a dog, you really only have one hand. So I ended up not really using this on my dog walks like I intended. So this has been living in my day pack, which I haven't been hiking early in the morning or into the night, so I haven't needed it. But I like to have a flashlight in my day pack because you never know, you gotta be prepared. So this has been living in my day pack. But the light that really shined for me, get the pun, was the X0. Now this little guy, I liked the look of it when I saw it on the website. It intrigued me. It's pretty small. I mean, that's the palm of my hand. It's pretty small, and it works really well. Now the way I had originally intended to use this was to use the clip and put it on my jacket pocket or my jacket lapel, but the clip is pretty tight. So if I was gonna say a negative for this light, I'd say that this clip is incredibly tight and really hard to put on. But it is adjustable. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It is adjustable. You have 2 screws there, so you could technically loosen it, but you may, if you back it up, the screws off too much, they might just unthread themselves and eventually fall off. So the way I have been using this is I have my Green Room 136 Redo, my Sidekeep Redo. You can see this strap, it's pretty thin, and it's still really, really tight to get the light on there. So I've been clipping the light to the strap, and see, I'm having a hard time getting it on there. So clip the light to the strap, and then I've been slinging the bag cross body, and then when I need it, I can slide it up and down, and then I can also just kind of push the bag, and I've been aiming the light that way because the bag's got a decent enough weight to it that it's not sliding around too much, and I can just adjust the light. So if I need to see more in front of me, I slide it up. If I'm trying to clean Duke, I'll slide it down, and you can see it does kind of slide a little bit, but it doesn't, it's never fallen off. I've kind of had it wiggle a little bit, but because the clip is so tight, it's never actually come off. Then I just slide it up, and when I'm done, I just push it all the way down, and then I kind of just push it out of the way. It doesn't hit my arm at all the way I've been wearing the bag. It's behind me, but when I need it, I just kind of sling the bag over. I slide this thing up, and I can just, between sliding it up and down and adjusting the bag, I can direct the beam of light. And this has been my ultimate dog walking light. I've been using this every single day, and I absolutely love this setup here because in the past, I'm trying to get my cell phone out of my pocket. Then if I have gloves on, I have to take the gloves off so I can unlock my cell phone and turn the light on my cell phone. And then I'm struggling, and then I'm trying to not get dog poo on my cell phone because now I have the dog leash on one hand with the cell phone, the dog poo in the other hand. Now I can eliminate the cell phone. I have one free hand, completely free hand, and I can angle the beam of the light no matter how I want it by just sliding it up and down the strap or moving the strap around my body. So the X0 has been like my dream go-to light. And also, I love the fact that this actually has a magnet on it. So I think this light would be really, really handy for, say, mechanics, because the size of the light is tiny, it could fit into really small spaces, and it's magnetized, so you can just clip it onto any piece of a car, if you will, and then you have the brightness settings can go pretty bright, and you can see really, really well. So this has been a great all-around light for me. So out of the 3 lights, the real winner for me has been the X0, and I thought it was just an interesting looking flashlight, which was why I decided to go for it. And I'm really, really happy I did, because out of the 3, this has been my shining star. So I've been really, really loving the X0 light. So I've mentioned that all 3 of these lights have different modes, and 2 of which have a breathe mode. Now they all operate basically the same, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you each of the lights, how they operate, and then I'm gonna go to an actual test out when I was walking Duke, so you can kind of see how they work and how you can see in an actual outdoors in an open space. And we're gonna start with the X0. Now, all 3 of these lights have a lockout mode. You can see if I press it, it's not gonna come on. And you can actually see there is a little blue light that's flashing there on the top of the X0 that shows me that it's on lockout mode. Now you take the on switch for any of these lights and you'll press it 4 times quickly. And you can see, yeah, the light came on. And now I can change the setting by pressing and holding. And then if I want to turn it back off, I'll turn the light off by a single quick press, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, it should flash. And now it's on lockout again, I can't turn it back on. With the C2, there's your on button, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's on, and I press and hold will change my brightness levels. Ooh, that's bright. And then to turn it off, again, you'll press the power button 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. It should flash to let me know that it's locked out. Now it's locked out. You can see maybe the W will glow. And it's the same thing with the headlamp. You just press the power button 4 times, it'll turn it off, or unlock it, turn it back on. Now, there is a breathe mode, which is gonna be a little harder to see on the C2. So the C2 and the H1 have a breathe mode, which you will press. Once it's locked, the flash has to be locked, you do 3 quick presses, 1, 2, 3. And then you could see the W should be breathing blue. And then if I were to take the headlamp and do 1, 2, 3, I should get right here, it's much easier to see, it's going to breathe. And on the H1, the power button and the charger are on the right-hand side of it, so you'll make sure your light is locked out. and then you'll take 3 quick presses on the power button. I want to make sure I'm pressing the right one. It's the top one. 1, 2, 3. And you can see breathe mode went off. So the C2 and the H1 have a breathe mode. The X0 does not. It does have a blue indicator light on the top that will press and let you know that you're in lockout mode, but it does not have a breathe mode. Now, how do these lights work when you're actually trying to use them in the dark? So let's go ahead and jump to Jeff in the field to see how they functioned. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty dark out here, and there's a Duke right in front of you. You just can't see him. And this is my primary use for 2 of these lights that we just got from Wuben. So first thing I'm doing is unlocking it. Now, there you go. There's a little beam. There's the dog. Okay, so this is the lowest beam of the X0. So we're gonna press and hold. Get a little brighter. Oh, look, there's a dog. You can see, not super far in front of us, but we're only on option 2. Press and hold. 3. Okay. Oh, look, there's a dog. There really is a dog in front of me. And then yeah, we can see a little bit more. And then 4th. Now we're kind of flooding the area. You can definitely see both sides of the path. Whoa. Duke is attached to me. I don't normally loop him around my waist, but I need 2 hands for this. So we can see a lot more. And yeah, we're in a cemetery. This is part of our walk and also the darkest part. And I did already use the X1 today, or X0 today, but I don't think you wanted to see me pick up dog poop, so I didn't film that section. Also, I would have needed 3 hands. 1 to hold the flashlight, 1 to hold the phone, and 1 to hold the dog poop. Okay, let's go to the C2. Okay, now we're gonna go with the C2. You can see very, very dark. There's a dog directly in front of you. You can't see him, but there he is. There's the Duke. So we're at beam 1, where now we're looking straight out. You can see lights in the distance, but just a still little solid beam. Press and hold, a little bit brighter. Now this one's definitely got a longer reach than the X0. This is a brighter light and a stronger beam. Now it's not coming through, I guess you could see the trees. Actually see my breath. So then here's 3. And then this is very bright, blinding Duke. This is back the way we came. You can actually see quite a bit of the road on 3. And then we'll go with 4, and that is super bright. We're flooding both sides of the walkway, well, driveway. It's a driveway. We're in the cemetery, walking on the driveway. And you can see, we could see good. I mean, you could see a lot. Now this is the 2000 lumen. This is the brightest it goes. And we can see quite a bit. And I'm not even gonna shine it directly down at Duke because he was squinting. I was blinding him. But this is giving me a hell of a beam right now. This would not be my primary use for this light. I'll probably end up putting this in my hiking bag or leaving this in the house as the house light for when the power goes out, because that happens more often than you would think. But this is kind of heavy and big and really bright for dog walking. I really kind of just need to see the poops. So the X0 is probably my primary dog walking light. Okay, this is day 2. As you can see, it's a little bit lighter out here. It's closer to 6 o'clock than 5. We got a little bit later start today. But where we are in the cemetery, it is still pretty much black. There is a Duke the dog directly in front of you right now. You can't see that, or my hand that is right in front of the camera. And we have the H1. So we're gonna start in our lowest setting. So there's Dookie, you can now see him. And you can't really see on the camera, but I have the headlamp angled down slightly so I can see the path in front of me. And I can see it, it's not super bright. I could probably see almost just as well as I can without the light right now. But I mean, it's angling down. There's Duke, so you can see the light is on, you can see the beam, but like you can't really see much of the ground through the camera, nor am I seeing much through my eyes. So here is setting 2. Now that's much better. There's obviously Duke. You're not seeing it as much as I am with my eyes, but there's spill. I can see the walkway on either side of the, I'm in a cemetery. You can see there's the headstones. So I'm like on the driveway, but there is some spill. I can see the walkway on either side, and I can clearly see Duke, no problem. We go with beam 3. Now that's much brighter. You can clearly see the spill even in the camera. There is a lot to see, and the sky is not that red to my eyes. It's only like that on the camera, but we're getting some really good spill, and the distance here is it's pretty good. I mean, I can see a lot. Like, that's going back. I could actually see with my eyes a lot further than it seems with the camera. There's a large tree that you can kind of see right there, but I can see that without moving my head, and a little past that, no problem. So again, here's Duke. He actually turned his head away. It's so bright. And then we'll go with, oh, I thought there was 4 settings. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. Huh. I thought there were 4 settings on this. 1, 2. That's it. Okay. So, all in, do I think that the Wuben flashlights are worth it? And honestly, they're pretty good. I mean, I'm enjoying them. My shining star, like I said, is going to be the X0. I really, really like this light. It's really, really nice. Some of the more expensive versions of this light, the X0, do have a few more features in it. This is the base one. This is the $60 one. So this one has a lot less features. I believe some of the more expensive ones do have a red light mode and a breathe mode on them. I think these little cutouts here that you can see are actually lights on some of the more expensive versions, and the cases are fancier in them. But so far, I would definitely say if you're looking at the X0, 100% get it. I love this X0. This was great. I'm gonna keep using this light. This was way better than I thought. I just thought it looked cool, and I wanted to try it because I thought it looked cool, and it ended up being the best flashlight out of the bunch for me anyway. For my personal uses, the X0 definitely won. So I would say if you're looking at the X0, 100% grab one. This light is great. It's gonna be very, very versatile, and I'm really loving it and enjoying it. And I've been using it every single day since I got it. Now, if you want to get a power bank flashlight combo, the C2 is pretty good. I mean, it's actually pretty comfortable in your hand. If you orientate the belt clip down, you can kind of get it in the grip of your hand, so it kind of gives it a little bit of a grip. And then the light, the power button is right by my thumb, so I can grip it and I can turn it on or off, change the power button, or change the lumen setting. I can make it brighter or dimmer if I want, and it's pretty comfortable. It is a bit bulky and a bit bigger, but because it has a power bank built into it, you could potentially lose the power bank out of your kit, and then you have your flashlight and your power bank as one. But personally, I think that's a bit risky. I don't want to be using my go-to flashlight to charge my phone and then not have any juice on my flashlight when I have it. So I would probably go with a smaller, thinner flashlight over the C2 if I was going to EDC this, just for my personal preferences. I mean, right now my phone is older, so I burn through battery, so I do have to recharge my battery if I'm going someplace. So I do use my power bank. If I had a newer phone, I probably wouldn't mind this because I'm not going to be using it to charge my phone too frequently. But I like that it's dual purpose, but I do think it is a little bit big as an EDC. Now, as something to keep around the house, this is going to be great. I also think this will come in very handy for camping because I can throw this in my backpack, and then when I'm camping and hiking, I'm not necessarily going to be stuck out in the rain or in the dark when I'm camping, but I will keep a bigger flashlight with me. Case in point, I always keep a headlamp in my backpack or a flashlight in my backpack, even my day pack. When I don't have any intentions of being out after dark, I will still use these, but I think that this would definitely be, could be a little bit smaller. It works really great, it's super bright, but I think the form factor is a little bit too large. Now, the H1, I like it. It's actually really nice. It's really comfortable to wear. It is a bit heavy for a headlamp, so if you're like a UL person, you're definitely not going to like this headlamp. It's going to be very, very heavy for you, but the way it functions, I mean, you can angle it very, very easily. You could charge it up super quick. I mean, you could change the battery in the H1 and the C2 as well, where I think you might be able to change it in the X0, but it's harder. It's kind of like locked in there. You're going to need some flatheads or a special tool, where the C2 and the H1, you could pop the battery right out. But the H1, it was pretty comfortable. It is hard to adjust one-handed, so keep that in mind. You're gonna need two hands to comfortably adjust the angle and direction of the beam. But overall, it worked pretty well for me. If you want something light, you're gonna want to go with something a little bit different, because this is heavy for a headlamp, but functionality wise, this is great. I mean, if this falls off your head on the trail, if you're trying to scratch your head or take off your hat and forget your headlamps on, and this falls and hits the ground, I don't have any worries that it's gonna break. But yeah, so it's not going to be for everyone because I think it's going to be a little heavy. But if you don't mind the weight, I think it's actually a pretty good bargain. It worked really well for me. Just didn't work well while I was walking with the dog because I needed 2 hands to comfortably adjust it. But again, my shining star is the X0. Absolutely love this light. Definitely recommend the X0. So with that, if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.